Juliet Elliott here for We Love Cycling. Now, it being the school holidays, I figured this would be a good day to share with you my tips for planning a family bike ride and give you some insights into how you can help make it as successful as possible.
You're the most amazing girl! Hey, little one.
Now, much as I love zooming around on my road bike, eating up the miles, family rides are some of the most enjoyable you can ever experience. My first tip would be to remember, first and foremost, these are about the kids. So if you want to be getting any kind of training in, do it before you set off. Other than that, let's move on to the planning. First thing you need to do is check your equipment and your kids' equipment. Nothing like your bike falling apart when you're trying to have a nice ride. If you haven't got all the gear, don't worry. You will find there are a lot of hire places stationed at the start of family-friendly routes. I'm thinking of Monsall Trail in the Peak District, also Ladybower Reservoir, and many of the forest parks also have places where you can hire suitable equipment. So do a little bit of research, don't think that you have to go out and buy everything. If you're taking your own equipment, just give it a quick once over, give the chain a bit of an oil, check that nothing's wobbling about too much, pump up the tyres, and then take a few basic supplies with you in case you have to deal with anything on the road. The choice of route is the most critical thing here, apart from taking jelly babies and making sure your bike works. So I've got some tips for you on how to find something that's going to work for all the family. Now, there's no reason you can't cycle on the road if your family are capable of that, but I find it is a lovely experience to just go somewhere traffic-free with your family. It's just stress-free, and you can concentrate on having fun without having to, really be hyper-vigilant about the traffic and ensure that your kids are safe. The National Cycle Network is one of the best places to start. Not all of their routes are traffic-free, but many of them are. You've got stuff like canal towpaths and routes through forests and stuff like that. Also, mainly the routes go through quiet back lanes and that kind of thing. They're very well thought out and signposted. Just look for the blue sign, so I'd thoroughly recommend you check those out. Cycling UK, the charity, also have a database of routes that may very well be what you're looking for, so have a look there. And then don't forget to check out your local forest park. Here in Devon, we really like Haldon Forest Park. They hire bikes and they have signposted trails of all kinds, really teeny weeny ones for tiny kids. And at the end, there's a cafe and a playground, so winning. It's also worth looking for pump tracks, skate parks and mountain bike trails. These can all be such fun for your children and for you. It can be hard to know how far or fast your kid can ride because it so depends on their mood and the weather and how many snacks you give them and stuff. But just to give you a kind of idea of what we're doing, I take my 5-year-old and 6-year-olds out on like 15-kilometre rides and they can cope with that. So that might be a good figure for you to start with. Does depend on the child though, obviously. Only you will know how far and fast your children can ride, and I would encourage you to be conservative when you plan your route. I always like to have some sort of get out route, a shortcut or something like that. So if everything goes totally wrong and your kids are like howling, you can send one member of the family to pick up the car and then drive around to collect the kids, or you can just cut off part of the route and shorten it all. Another good plan is always to know where the cafes are, so if it's terrible weather you can pop in for a hot chocolate. A minimal bit of research into these things before you set off really will pay dividends. So once you've done your planning, it's time to ride, and I've just got a few little tips for you for the ride itself. Number one, let your kids take the lead. They really enjoy it, they like being in control, plus it means you can see them, you can warn them about any traffic coming along, and they can set the pace. Number 2, I mentioned this already, I know I keep labouring the point, but snacks, 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 snacks. Just take snacks. I'm not saying you have to just endlessly feed them jelly babies, although they are a lifesaver, and hey, it's just one day, so. But take lots of snacks for them because it just really lifts morale or re-energises them, and yeah, if things are looking bad, then jelly babies. Number 3, clothes, extra clothes. You might be the pack horse carrying all these extra clothes and an extra bag, but you're probably going to be going quite slowly, so it's not going to be that bad. Number 4, the shortcuts. I told you about those, but the other thing you can do is plan some way of giving your child a bit of assistance. I take a bungee called a towie, and that goes around the stem of your child's bars and hooks over your saddle. That means that if they're really flagging, you can give them a bit of assistance. They've still got a ride, but you are towing them a little bit. The last tip would be take your time. This is no race. Your kids will probably want to stop, look at bugs, climb trees, go in playgrounds, and that's kind of the point, right? The ride itself is all just part of a big adventure for your children, so treat it as such, and I'm sure that they will have lots of fun, and so will you.